promptly because we have to clear this room at 11 o'clock to allow for the setting up of the National Innovator Awards. So I want to invite this morning's panel and chair to take the stage as those that are in the foyer make their way into the room. I'm inviting all of the SRC personnel to make their way in as well. And those of you that are joining online and those that are streaming on your phones and making your way to the Jamaica Pegasus, it is still a lovely day and another exciting morning where today the focus will be on successful businesses that has utilized science at the core of their business. So welcome one and all as we close out SRC's conference with another insightful, riveting conversation looking at science, technology, and innovation at the core of business and boosting business success.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Fantastic. I know it's pretty early, so I don't want any dedicated people in the conference room. It is a pleasure for us to be here this morning. I want to welcome members of our panel or panelists. Dr. Levy, Jamaica Borders Group, Professor Wayne McLaughlin, University of the West Indies, Ms. Leke Bellamy, Jaipur, and we have the CEO of Technological Solutions, Dr. Andre Garden, who should be joining us shortly. Andre, anytime you're ready, can join us on the podium. So we'll be looking on some critical issues, some critical areas today in terms of how science, technology, and innovation support the core of businesses to make them more resilient and successful. So we ask you to just open up your minds, have your questions, jot them down, and we shall be having a very interactive session. For those who don't know me, I'm Cliff Riley, the coordinator of value addition at the International Trade Center based in Geneva, and also the operator of a local science-based business known as Research and Product Development Solutions. We want to welcome you this morning and also want to congratulate Dr. Watson and SRC team for a fantastic conference. It's very, very encouraging, seeing SRC continue this thrust of ensuring that there are scientific solutions that can drive and support not just our economical development, but also the social development required within our space. At this particular point, ladies and gentlemen, a conference won't be a conference without any financial support or support from other institutions. As you'll realize, the session is sponsored by CARMED, and we'd like to invite our CARMED representative to join us on the podium to give us a brief remarks, and then we'll move into the discussions. Dr. Gordon, please, you can join us. Thank
you. Yes, I'm quite little. Thank you so much. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so much for having us here this morning. We're pleased to be a sponsor. CARIMED is also always very much in support of science and technology and development, and pharmaceuticals are very much a part of science and development, and we support the SRC in their dealings and everything that they do to support Jamaica. So this morning I just wanted to give a brief reminder about one of our products, Allegra. Not sure if everyone here is familiar with it. It is an OTC brand. It is something that you can go to the pharmacy and pick up. So let's begin. So Allegra, it is an antihistamine. And what are antihistamines? Basically, when a person is allergic to a particular substance, such as food, or things like dust, or anything that causes some kind of unusual reaction in the body, the immune system basically starts a series of reactions that prompts, I'm sorry, the clicker doesn't seem to be working. The side, okay. I got it, thank you so much. Right, so it prompts the body's cells to release what we call that, something called histamine and other chemicals into the blood. So the histamine basically acts on a person's eyes and their lungs or skin, and it causes what we call allergy symptoms. So what we use is antihistamine medications, so that basically counteracts the histamine and helps to fight the symptoms caused by this allergic reaction. So the symptoms basically include watery eyes, rhinorrhea, or what we call runny nose, sneezing, that itchy throat or palate, you know, that little weird noise that you sometimes make when, you know, your throat is scratching you. And then we have something called urticaria, which is basically hives or those red itchy bumps on the skin. So you're going to use a product like Allegra to help to counteract those symptoms. So we have different presentations of Allegra. We have the 120 presentation, we have the 180, and we also have one that's called Allegra D. So the Allegra D is more geared towards the congestion, nasal congestion. The 120 is more geared for regular allergic symptoms like your runny eyes and runny nose, and the 180 is more geared towards your skin reactions. So the excellent thing about Allegra is that it gives you very powerful relief without a prescription. So as I mentioned, hives, the rash and itching that's caused by things like dengue, relief from common cold symptoms, and believe me, ladies and gentlemen, we are in the flu season, so you will see a lot of those reactions coming on right now. Extended coughing, that hacking, annoying cough that's sometimes caused by sinus drainage, Allegra can help with that. And as I mentioned, severe sinusitis. So why choose Allegra as opposed to any other thing that is on the market? First of all, it is safe for elderly patients, right? 120 and the 180 milligram are available without a prescription, so please feel free to go to your pharmacy and ask for it by name. It gives quick and powerful relief within 1 hour, multi-symptom treatment, so it treats all the symptoms of allergic rhinitis. Non-drowsy relief, so guess what, you can take it and still go to work, you can still function while at work. 1 tablet daily dosing, so it's just 1 tablet to give you that excellent, powerful relief, and it works for the entire day. We also have another presentation that actually comes as a liquid, and it's excellent for our children. So a lot of the antihistamines on the market actually start at age 2. Ours actually starts at 6 months old, and it tastes good. You know, kids don't really like the medication thing. So when you give them this, they will love it, and they won't have a problem taking it. So some of the advantages of the Allegra suspension, as I mentioned, starts at 6 months old. It tastes really good and is the biggest antihistamine on the market, 150 mils. The elderly patients, sometimes they can't manage to, you know, take a lot of tablets, so there's an option to give them the liquid as well, and it is very, very easy to administer as it comes with a little syringe in the box. So these are all the presentations of Allegra that we have available in the pharmacies. As I mentioned, most of them are over the counter. You can feel free to go and ask your pharmacist for Allegra. How do you use it? As I mentioned, the hives, the itching, food reactions, and of course, other kind of skin conditions and allergic rhinitis. Free yourselves from allergy symptoms with Allegra. Thank you so, so much for having us today.
Thank you very much, Ms. Smith. Again, ladies and gentlemen, can we give Karen Mead a round of applause? Thank you. Several little housekeeping issues I might just want to highlight before we move into the formal discussions. One, we just want to remind our online participants that they can post their questions, and we will take those as we go through the session. And also, we ask persons to ensure they go. And for those who have not done as yet, we ask you to also download the conference program on the SRC conference website, srcconference.com. What we'll do now, ladies and gentlemen, we'll have some discussions. And I think this is where we pose quite a bit of the issues, looking at some of the successes, as well as opportunities that exist for science, technology, and innovation to play a more meaningful role in transforming businesses. And in such way of transforming businesses, how to improve our efficiency as a country, how to drive and support innovation, high throughput exports, as well as coming up with solutions to address some of our local challenges and issues. We have a very distinguished panel of experts on our podium today, on the platform today, who will be bringing you through some of the successes that they have, they have seen over the years, some of the innovations they have taken on through their companies, as well as some of the challenges that they have faced. Because we're in an era where we're encouraging entrepreneurship, we're encouraging persons to use their knowledge, the skill sets, and the expertise they have to transform business, create employment, and to generate wealth. And I'm sure you may agree that creating wealth and expanding employment won't necessarily come from formal employment, but more involvement in entrepreneurial type activities, which we hope will be high throughput, innovative approaches. Today, our four presenters, Dr. Robert Levy, OJ, is the chairman of Jamaica Boilers Group Limited, and I indicated to me not to do a long introduction, it was a very short introduction, so I'll stop there. I don't want him to ban me from let me not go any further. Professor Wayne McLaughlin, he is a professor in molecular biology from the University of the West Indies, Mona, and I'm sure a lot of us in this room have been taught by Professor McLaughlin in terms of biotechnology, biochemistry, as well as molecular biology. And he is a stalwart in terms of our operations here in Jamaica. He has established quite a number of companies. I'm sure we have heard about Carigen as well as Caratox, and I know Prof. Mac has other ideas in terms of other businesses, other solutions that can be instituted within the Jamaican space. Sorry. Our Rose Among the Thorn, Lily Claire Bellamy, she's the Executive Director of the Jamaica Intellectual Property Office, one of the institutions that has been at the forefront in supporting innovation in the Jamaican space as well as the wider Caribbean space, and how such innovations can be protected so we can really generate significant benefits, not just financial benefits, but also reputational benefits as well within the global market space. It's a global market space. We have to seek methods, approaches to protecting our intellectual property, but more so, how do we have protection with the global space? And we have really clear, we'll be touching on some of the critical areas in terms of benefiting while protecting your intellectual property. So she'll move into those discussions. And last but not least, Dr. Andre Gordon, he is well known. He's a foundation scientist in a sense that has been involved in the development of a number of standards. You have a critical services through the company that he founded, Technological Solutions of Jamaica, which is a major player within the service industry, providing scientific and technological solutions to our entrepreneurs. So, ladies and gentlemen, without any further delays, I'm going to invite our panelists to, give us a 10 minutes discussion in terms of how they have been utilizing science within their space, the successes that they have had, and they will move into the formal discussion as we go through. So, ladies and gentlemen, please can you give our presenters a round of applause. We'll start with Sir Levy, and then we move to Professor Wayne McLaughlin, Lily Claire Bellamy, and Andre Gordon.
Thank you very much. And as you look at the pictures, I am sure I look the youngest compared, all except the rose among the thorns, right? Even with Andre, he has lost all his hair. I still have a little bit, right? And this morning, I did want to talk because I think I've lived at the most interesting time in humanity, right? I remember going back to the airport to see my father off in the 40s. The airport was at Harbour Head. The only planes that flew into Jamaica were seaplanes. There was no Palisados. From seeing seaplanes to having the privilege to fly on the Concorde from London to New York in 2 hours and 30 minutes. Unbelievable. And the privilege of going up into the cockpit and seeing the curvature of the earth, right? Amazing. I remember having in our house, in a passage, a box, a handle, a mouthpiece, and a winder. And that's how we made a telephone call that actually went into the exchange where they plugged my call in. Well, it wasn't me making a call, I was about 4 years old, but they'd plug it in, you'd ask for the party, they'd ring the party, plug it in, to the point of I travel with a little holder, and whenever I want to make a call, I say, Siri, please call such and such. And that happened. But the most amazing thing happened the other day. We were sitting, a group of us were sitting, and we were talking about suicide. And all of a sudden, my phone was on the table, and it said, if you need help, please call this number. I was thrown a curve. I remember, as a young boy, actually riding in a buggy on Constance Spring Road. I remember distinctly cars having to be wound up by a handle in the front to start. And I had the privilege of driving in an electric car. My son-in-law had a Tesla, and I drove for an hour and a half behind him. I put the car on automatic drive. Hear me carefully, hear me carefully. Put it on automatic drive at 80 miles per hour. I drove behind my son-in-law for an hour and a half. If he changed lanes, the only thing I had to do was put down the indicator or put it up. He came into towns, stopped, my car stopped behind him. He drove off my car. The only thing I had to do was touch the steering wheel once every minute. And the car drove an hour and a half behind him. I tell my grandchildren, I said, that's a marvelous thing, but you know what? I'm going to tell you this, that your grandchildren are going to see something amazing. They are going to travel in the air. There'll be air cars. And I know we have scientists here, and scientists, there's only one thing that has to be done for that to be possible. And anybody that can come up with it, I promise I'll give you a case of best dressed chicken. And that includes Andre. What do we have to do as scientists to make that possible? Eh? What? The only thing we have to do is neutralize gravity. Correct, Andre? We have to and you know, that is as far-fetched as we can possibly think. But you know, I have to just bring this in. As you know, I'm Christian, and I have to just bring this in. In Genesis chapter 11, in verse 6, amazing statement is made by God. And he says this, as these people are building this tower up into heaven, because they are of one and one language, I'm going to confuse them and spread them out and change their languages. Listen to this statement, because nothing will be impossible for them to do. We will neutralize gravity. And those changes that I have seen in my lifetime have been amazing. But you younger people are going to see greater changes. I want to share with you today some of the changes that we have seen in our own industry. When we started, the industry took 12 weeks to grow a 3-pound chicken. It took, and it took 3 pounds of feed to produce 1 pound of meat. This needs to be kept in perspective of today. Today, poultry feeds more people than any other protein in the world, right? If those breakthroughs had not taken place, and let me make sure that you understand those breakthroughs were not by genetical engineering or by growth hormones. It was carried out by scientific selective breeding, right? It was also carried out by scientific improvement in grains and scientific breakthroughs in husbandry, all scientific breakthroughs. If those changes had not taken place, ladies and gentlemen, the world would need 180 million metric tons more of corn alone to feed the poultry that we have today. 180 million. As I think about that, I realize that's not possible. 180 million metric tons. That represents 50% almost of what America produces in corn. But I want to share with you a husbandry practice that took place in Jamaica that had a major impact in the industry. Now, the industry starts by purchasing from what is called primary breeders. Those are the people that do all of the selective breeding so that you have the perfect chick, male chick, and female chick. And we, the industry that produces the chickens, purchases from these primary breeders baby male chicks for $5 US per chick and $3 for the female chick. We don't realize that female discrimination goes all the way back to chickens. It doesn't start with us, right? These baby chicks are grown up as the mommy and daddies of the eggs that go into the hatchery that come out and produce the best dressed chicken, which I hope everybody eats. Again, we're talking about the industry. The feeding of these chickens are extremely, extremely important because at maturity, when you put them together, it is imperative that the males weigh exactly as they should to perform properly, and the females weigh exactly. In the growing period, they are actually test weighed every single week. But there's a problem because the males, being very dominant, will tend to overeat or to eat the female feed, and there had to be a way to prevent the males eating the female feed. So what the industry did was they put on big plastic glasses that were held by an arrow through the nose of all the males, so that when they go into the chicken house, right, they will not eat the female feed. These, we have to understand, these roosters have to unbelievably perform. The hens have to be mated once every 3 days. There are 1 rooster to 10 hens. The performance of those guys have to be just unbelievable, right? Surpass any male that we know about, right? That's why they cost more. But these plastic glasses, of course, were a hindrance, right? And our Mr. Andy Wildish, whether a manager or a scientist, came up with a breakthrough. As he looked at it and tried to understand the hindrances and what other method could we do, he came up with a simple solution. He put a PVC pipe in actually the feeding troughs, right? So that the male, because he had a comb, could not get in through the grill. So the restriction was done horizontally against laterally. Within a year, the industry through the world adopted it. I wish we had patented it, but we don't know. But you know, I share that with you. And of course, what happened, the roosters never had on glasses, they could see the hens, they could perform a whole lot better, right? I share that with you, ladies and gentlemen, as scientists, because you know, sometimes we think we have to develop big things. Small things can have major, major impacts. And you know, there's something on my heart relative to the scientific community in Jamaica. And that is, I think the SRC and the National Commission for Science and Technology needs to figure how can we get the scientists in Jamaica more closely associated with the commercial world. It is imperative. Israel has led the world in this. How do we get the scientists in relationship with the commercial world and productive world? There's another thing on my heart, and that is, you know, as we reviewed some of the work that scientists have done, and scientists spend some considerably time, but there are 2 things. One is, as they work are they asking the question, so what? So what is the effect of my work? You know, I did a course at Harvard University, and one of the main professors there was Professor of Marketing. And he you know, up there, they're sometimes very demonstrative, but he was saying, any proposal that came to me, any business proposal that came to me, that did not start with the market, and he had a book in his hand, I threw it away. And scientists, I beg, think about, what is the market for the work I'm doing? Does it have a marketable impact? One of the outstanding scientists that have had that sort of impact is our Dr. Andre God. And I really think the fact of how he has impacted not only the industry as far as food is concerned, but health and all the other things. And I congratulate you for taking that, Andre, step. Lead the rest of your scientists to be thinking, the work that I'm doing, how is it going to impact? Does it have a market? And I will be doing all I can to really be working with National Commission for Science and Technology to try and bring the two communities together. Blessing to all.
I thought basically we're looking at S&P course, how it course that we had set up 16 years ago. It's Caribbean Genetics. That's one of the first lab we had set up. It's a molecular diagnostic lab. So it spans biosciences, molecular diagnostic industry. But just to give a little perspective before getting into it. So as you know, COVID came around 2.5 years ago, and this basically was really caused an exceptional disruption in everything, in all our lives, basically. And it affected the value chain. As we know, the industries closed down, businesses closed, so that was a really major challenge. But of course, there are others. As you know, there's flood in Pakistan, so there are a lot of events happening, conflicts, as we know, Ukraine, war right now, we can't get grain, prices of food go, sky high, and fuel and things like that. So other challenges, of course, include trade policies, regulatory changes that might come along. So we all have to be aware of this as we get into business. Right? All right, so again, the disruptions, this is, as I said, one of the most major one, and the pandemic has pushed global economy into a recession, and some companies, as I said, fail, freeze, but some companies actually grew and make it really thriving and advancing, adding new technologies just to get around this pandemic. And this major difference between failure and success is really resilience. So that's really the key word. I'm not so sure if you can see this slide very well, but this slide came from McKinsey. It's a marketing company, and this was in their publication in March this, and they predicted that sort of.